this damn friendly neighborhood party.
Right on. Welcome to Thoughts Off the Stem. I'm Justin Barone, your friendly neighborhood pothead, and today we're smoking a little bit of 1964's cured resin. I think it's cold cured. It's orange juice is a strain. It's a sativa. It's 83.5% THC, 4.17% terps, and 1.85 milligrams of CBD. It is delicious. I've tried to do this about 3 fucking times now, so I'm pretty high. I started the show twice without having the fucking thing recording. Another time I started it and somebody decided to run the water. Perfect. Thank you very much for that. God damn it. So anyway, thank you for joining me, Justin Barone, your friendly neighborhood pothead, on Friday at 4:20 to start your weekend off right, baby. Everything's recording. Lights are good so far. Hopefully nothing fucks up from here on out. So that's what we're smoking in the student glass, the cured resin orange juice by 1964. And then in pre-roll today, we are going to smoke, I am going to smoke white chocolate. It is a sativa dominant hybrid. It's 25.7% THC and it's 5.92 milligrams of CBD. It's out of, what is this, a 10 pack, half grams. Yeah. I forget what the cross is. Tyler told me. As you can see, Tyler's not here. He's got band practice, so that's fun for him. So I'm going to talk to you about something that's kind of been on my mind that I've been thinking about for the last little while, for a few different reasons. But if you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast on a regular basis, you know that I brought up the other day Aerosmith's Living on the Edge. And yeah, sure, I was fucking around and we were having a good time talking about how they could predict the future and all that fun stuff. But I'm serious. Listen to that song, okay? And then tell me that it doesn't accurately depict right now. Okay? It's the idea that, we're living on the edge. I don't know, sits with me pretty tightly, because I feel like we all are always on the edge of something, like losing our fucking minds or some kind of bullshit like that, right? And I think a lot of what's put us in this position lately is the inability to interact socially with the same kind of positive energy that I saw growing up. Like when I was growing up as a kid, if you met somebody new, sure, there was a little bit of a barrier there when you were first meeting them, but eventually, relatively quickly, maybe it's a kid thing, but relatively quickly, you became best friends or whatever. But I've noticed as like an adult, especially now since like the, all the stupid shit that's gone on in our most recent years, in terms of even like technological advancement, stuff like that, it all just puts us on edge. There's so much of everything. We've talked about it before with like access to information and having this ability to know exactly what's happening wherever you want in the fucking world, in a moment's notice. Like you think the thought, you could find the thing, no problem. You know what I mean? It's kind of fucked up that we can let that as individuals bleed into our interaction with other human beings. Because like, do you remember high school? When you're back in high school, I know I talk about this when I talk about the past, I talk about high school a lot. But back in high school, here's a good example, because I'm 42. I'm going to be 43 next week, fuck. So I've noticed that there's like a huge difference in how you have to interact with people now than back then. So for example, if you liked a girl in high school, you go up, shoot your shot with that girl, and then that's it. It's over. You move on, right? And you have to still kind of see each other and deal with the fact that you're around each other. So you have to become okay with rejection, right? And if you don't attempt it, obviously you're never going to be okay with it. But the point is that nowadays in real life, like as an older person in real life, there's this weird, like, don't talk to me vibe on every level, whether it's a girl, whether it's a dude, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Everybody's out there like, just leave me alone. I got my blinders on. I'm doing my thing. You don't see a lot of, camaraderie happening unless it's in a group of people that already know each other. Hold on. Student glass hit. So recently I had an interaction like this. I've had a few where I've thought about, I've had a few interactions with, just on a daily basis working in a retail shop. People come in and they sometimes get on your nerves, or the last person got on your nerves. So you kind of take out your attitude on the next person, not rudely, but you're kind of short with them. You don't really want to talk to them anymore or any of that shit, or you don't want to talk to them too long. You want to get through the process fast so you can go fuck off for a bit. That's kind of wrong too. But one of the things that I've always had, I'm kind of skirting around the topic because it puts me, I don't know if it puts me in a bad light, but it's a somewhat embarrassing moment. Okay, so I'll just lay it out. Okay, so being a single dad, trying to meet new people is tough. Now, I'm not looking for sympathy or any of that bullshit. I'm just setting the scene, okay? So, as a single dad, like I said, it's hard to meet new people, like new, adult people that want to hang out and do things outside of, play dates with kids and stuff like that. It's even harder as an adult in your 40s to try and find a date, okay? Especially if you don't have a very large social circle. Now, my social circle is pretty small. Basically, my life consists of going to work and coming home, taking care of my kids, and going back to work, coming home, taking care of my kids, okay? So it's very difficult to meet people. So I've tried to meet people on the internet through like different dating apps and stuff like that. That never pans out very well. And quite honestly, it's amazing how many people don't have their fucking shit together at 40 years old. I'm not expecting anybody to be like perfect or, rich or this or that, but I'm saying like have your shit together. Maybe don't live at home. I know I've dated some women who've said the same thing. Like if you're a dude, you should be living on your own. If you're over 30, you should be, even renting, whatever. The point is that you should be doing something other than living in your parents' basement or sharing a house or whatever. I can understand if you have to take care of a parent, but that's not part of this discussion that I'm trying to explain, which I'm not doing a very good job of. I'm just rambling. But okay, so it's hard for me to find a date, is what I'm saying. So there's always been a certain group of people that go through or have come through the retail environment who have taken the chance and tried to, get a date with a customer, okay? I've always been of the mind that, like, you shouldn't do it. You don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. You don't want to chase somebody away. You definitely, more so than anything, in the dynamic of customer, salesperson, you don't want the customer to feel uncomfortable because you want them to have a positive experience every time they come to the shop. So, in terms of asking for a number from somebody you find attractive in the work environment, if you run into each other outside of that, whatever. Then it's whatever, because that's your personal time. But it shouldn't be done in the workplace, is how I totally feel about it. So we've had people that have done it. It's worked out. It's been fine. And there was this incident recently where, again, okay, this is where I kind of also want help on this because after thinking about it quite a bit, I don't necessarily think that I'm that wrong for doing this, okay? So I didn't approach anybody at the shop. I didn't ask anybody out. I didn't pull any fucking stupid games of like, can I have your number for the thing? And then be like, oh, how about I call you sometime? I didn't do that shit, okay? Now this may or may not be worse, but you decide. So we had this customer that I had like a pretty good rapport with, okay? And it seemed like they they seem like nice people, okay? So one time when I was scrolling through Facebook, they popped up and I thought, oh, I kind of know this person. Sure, I don't know them perfectly, but I kind of know this person. So, like, you know, we've talked to each other before. Like, she knows who I am and I know who she is. So maybe if I send her a message like, hey, would you like to go out for dinner sometime? It won't be so bad, right? So I do that because I'm an idiot. I went against every fucking part of my gut that was screaming at me not to do it. But again, my excuse is going to be that it is hard to find a date. So I thought that in this day and age, with, you know, having Facebook, Instagram, all these different places, I didn't think it was that out of place to, you know, see if there was any interest there. Now, maybe I should have taken a step first and maybe I should have tried the friend request before just sending the, hey, do you want to go on a date message? That might have been stupid. Okay, fair enough. But I didn't do it through work. I didn't get her information through work, even though I could have. Okay? I got it, like, organically on Facebook. So, is that really wrong? Because, not that she said anything to me, but she did say something to another employee where she asked if, I believe this was the words, I don't know, it's third hand what they were saying, but I believe the words were, is this normal for this to happen? And I was like, no, but now I'm embarrassed because I feel like a dope for doing that. But also, it's not like I was trying to hit on, you know, a 19-year-old or something like that. Like, we're close enough in age that I didn't think it was that weird. Considering the fact that I always try to think about how I would feel in that situation if I was that person in that situation. So I was overly concerned about the fact that, yes, maybe this would make her feel uncomfortable about coming to the shop. Okay. I was aware of that. I tried to make sure that that wasn't, you know, part of the presentation or anything, because I also know that this day and age, people like to go on the idea that, oh, well, you know, there's a power dynamic. You're the person in power. And not really. I'm, you know, ultimately, I'm just saying, hey, I find you attractive and would like to go out for dinner, but I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. So, like, don't worry about it. You know, try to say all that in one shot. And I didn't do it in a professional environment. I mean, I did it online, but I've been used to doing it, like, dating online. I don't know. I didn't think it was that big a step. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like it was somewhat logical that if you don't have, why would I want to make you feel uncomfortable and sit there and tell you, and try to ask you while I'm trying to, you know, do a business transaction with you. You know what I'm saying? I can understand women getting weirded out by, like, a stranger or a guy you met one time reaching out and trying to be like, hey, you're pretty, can we fuck? I understand that. maybe don't go with that guy. But somebody that you've had a bit of an interaction with, you know each other by name, okay? Or maybe I am assuming, maybe she didn't know my name, but I'm pretty sure we introduced ourselves, because, yeah. So I didn't think it was that out of line to do anything like that. So yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that initially, right after I sent the thing, my gut went, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Okay, so let's just get that off the table here. I'm not trying to be some creepy, weird dude. What I'm trying to say is that in this day and age in technology, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that shit, okay? Why would you be upset? I don't know if upset's the right word, because I don't know that she was upset. Well, okay, why would you be weirded out if somebody reached out to you through a social media platform to see if you wanted to go for a date? Because it seems like the personal interactions that you have with the person is the more inappropriate time to do it, right? And then also, it's not like you're going through, like, if you're going through somebody that has, like, a private Facebook page and you're trying to get in and, like, it's not work, like, That's weird. But if the Facebook page is public, or like Twitter is public, like all of your social media is out to the public, like isn't there a certain element to having that out there that sort of would give you the idea that you might get things like that, and why be weirded out by it? Ultimately, I also don't understand, maybe this is a guy thing, why you would be weirded out by it. Because in my train of thought, if I was in your position, now again, I realize that I'm a dude. I understand that I have never had a scenario where I've lived a day as a woman, so I don't know what it's like. I get that. I'm not trying to say that I do. I'm just saying that if I were in the mindset that I am in right now, I would think that what I would do is take it as a compliment. Now, if the person is aggressively, repetitively trying to get a different answer than the answer they've already got, then maybe that's something to be worried about and to like put up a barrier against. But to be weirded out by somebody, again, I don't know. I don't really know I don't know that I'm right in this scenario, because I think that maybe I shouldn't have done it the way I did it. Maybe I shouldn't have done it at all. That is definitely, like, I've thought about that. But at the same time, the analytical portion of my brain goes, if I was in that scenario, and like, not that people are coming on to me, but in the terms of having social media that's out to the public, I have tons of that. I have everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever's out there, I have it, okay? And I use it pretty regularly to put out stuff like this. So I expect that I'm going to get some weird DMs sometimes, And I feel like as a mature person, okay, I would have really thought nothing of it had this person not said anything to somebody that I work with, because I didn't do it at work and that person wasn't there and they weren't involved. So clearly it upset her in some way. But I didn't do it inside of work or in any way related to work, right? So there was no dynamic of, oh, I'm selling you something, or I'm, whatever. And then I also think about when you're younger and you would find somebody attractive, you go talk to them, but you just like walk up to them and talk to them, be like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? And that was fine. In my opinion, when you're doing direct messaging on social media, that's kind of the same thing now. Is it not? Is it not the same to just shoot somebody a message, be like, hey, how's it going? I'm so-and-so, blah, 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 for whatever purpose. Doesn't have to be dating, doesn't have to be friendship, just anything. You see messages like that all the time. So in me sending a message on Facebook and saying, hey, I know it's kind of weird, but would you like to go out for dinner sometime? My opinion is you have two options. One, you're either interested and cool, or two, you're not, so you just ignore it, right? Because why? Who cares? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess not. Because like that's how it used to be growing up. But then there's a certain point at a certain age where I think people get really guarded, and then they get weirded out by things that I don't necessarily believe are that weird. Like, we use technology for everything. I don't know about you, but if you're not dating, if you're not dating, okay, right now, in person as somebody in their 40s, to meet somebody new that you want to date is tough. It's not easy. It comes around like, I don't know, every so often. So in my opinion, you should be allowed in reality to shoot your shot, as long as you're not like a psychopath or a stalker or somebody crazy that wants to eat someone's face off. Don't eat people's faces off. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Just be cool, man. There's someone for everyone. Be cool. Don't be weird. And I wasn't being weird. I just sent the one message. I got no response, so I deleted that shit. And I was like, okay, well, that's it. And then I heard later on that, oh, she apparently had said something to a coworker. And I was like, well, fuck, man. Because it's kind of embarrassing. Like I said, you don't want to put somebody in a position where they feel awkward coming in to the business. So the shitty part is now I know that no matter what I do, I'm going to be associated, at least in the town I'm in, associated with that shop because that's where people know me from. So now I have this whole like complex of like, well, if I reach out to anyone ever about anything, I have to worry about how they're going to associate me to the shop, or if they will or if they won't. Is that going to hurt me? Is that going to hinder my situation? Like, I feel like people can relate to this, no? Like I said, Aerosmith had it right. We're living on the edge. We're always constantly looking for a fucking problem. What if sometimes there's just no problem and it's just cool to be cool, and just having a good time and hanging out? Everybody always wants to do like the next thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for like progress and bettering yourself and all that stuff. But there's also room for relax, calm the fuck down. Sometimes a question is just a question. It doesn't have any more meaning to it. I know that I'm mature enough that if I were presented with the situation that I just described to you that I did, okay, if I wasn't interested, I would just leave it alone. And then if the next time I went into the shop, they said something, I'd say, look, I'm just not interested. And if they dropped it, cool. We go on our merry way, because like, you're not going to win. You're not going to get everything you want. So like, I understand that if you don't want to do that, fine, but I'm not going to make it weird. You're going to make it weird by being weird about it being weird. I don't know if I said that enough. But that's been on my mind for a while. Because I don't know that it's necessarily wrong to do that. But the reaction a lot of times is that it is wrong. Because you're reaching out from either a position of power of some kind, or you're just the dirty dude that's trying to hit on customers. You know what I mean? Like, maybe the assumption is that if you hit on one customer, then you're just gonna hit on every customer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because I don't think that way. I just think, hey, you seem pretty cool. You're attractive. Do you want to go out sometime? No? Okay, cool. On with my day, And I don't do that like 40 times a day. But I don't understand when it became so hostile to try and, well, even like I said, make a new friend. Like, date somebody, make a new friend. It feels like there's always an eye towards like, oh, what's your angle? As opposed to just genuine, hey, you know what? You seem like a cool person. Want to get together? I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like that. It feels like everybody is so caught up in the negative bullshit and scared about everything that we're just on this constant like cradle hanging over the side of, I don't know, some giant mountain, falling into an abyss if we move the wrong way. So everybody's just like, oh, leave me alone. No, get out of my space. You know what I mean? Everybody's fighting for the dollar so that they can leave to go to Mars when the planet's going to explode. And then everybody else is trying to find a way to dig their way into the ground so that they don't go all the way into space. They stay somewhat close to where we used to be if everything works out poorly. I don't know, man. I just know that it felt really weird because I've always been very conscious, I guess, and aware of my own actions and my own influence in the positions and the situations that I'm in. So I tend to overthink the concept of, like I said, trying to date somebody that either you see at work or works with you. There's always like that there's that like push and pull. You get, because you're like, I could do it, and then you're like, but I shouldn't. And then sometimes you see other people, and sometimes it works for them, and sometimes it doesn't. But they're like the 1%, you know? They're the few that it actually works out for. So I just come to the conclusion that, like, it's never good to date somebody you work for. It's not really good to date anybody in terms of, like, a business arrangement, right? But I also don't think it's out of line to, if you do find somebody that you think might be compatible, to reach out to them in your personal life. Because I feel like you have enough of a, I mean, maybe not the first time you meet them, but if you've had enough of an interaction, like, I'm telling you, I had known this customer for like at least 6 months at this point. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, just one day I was like, oh, whatever. It was over time. I was like, oh, this person's pretty cool. So, like, I'll shoot a shot, you know? It didn't work. And it did exactly what I was worried about it doing. So the lesson in this is, don't do it. Don't fucking do it at all. Because there's no point. You're either going to piss somebody off, or you're going to fuck up a business relationship potentially. And plus, you don't want to be the person that's arguing at work, you know? Like, do you really? I just thought about that. Saying that just implies that at the like right off the bat, I know there's going to be arguments. That's not how you should go into it. Don't go into a relationship assuming you're going to argue at work. But you just shouldn't do it, right? Like, that's what it seems to me this whole situation has taught me. Is one, I should have listened to my gut and never done it. 2, I should have listened to my gut and not done it. Because initially I was like, I shouldn't do it. I'm not going to do it. But then, of course, like I said, as a single dad, it's hard to find new people, meet new people, find new friends, meet anybody you want, let alone meet people you want to date. You know? So, like, I don't understand why it's necessarily a bad thing that you would reach out to somebody. Again, wouldn't you take it as, like, oh, okay. Unless you think I'm disgusting. Then if you think I'm disgusting, I can see how you could be like, what the fuck? Because I have a feeling that if I look like, I don't know, let's say like Thor, I don't think it would have been such a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. I think if I had washboard abs and shoulders like mountains and a chest like a fucking, I don't know, what's a chest like? Like a helicopter landing pad times dose. If I had that look, I guarantee you that it probably wouldn't have been weird, you know? But whatever. It is what it is. I just wanted to talk about it because it's been bothering me that it seemed to me at first that, yeah, I felt bad. I shouldn't have done it. I was, like I said, I was a little embarrassed about it. But then after I got over that little bit of embarrassment, I started to think, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's not like I did it while I was trying to sell her like a vape cart. You know? I wasn't like, hey, here's some Apple Jacks. On my phone number, you know? So I still don't understand why it's weird to reach out over social media. Because like I said, I get DMs from all kinds of shit. Like, I don't find it weird that people reach out to people electronically. Like, that's the whole point of social things. Like, don't harass people. Don't overuse it. Don't, you know, try to antagonize people. But I mean, the whole point of social media was to expand your social network, right? So why wouldn't it apply to people that you meet in real life? Like, if a customer texted me on Facebook, I wouldn't necessarily be weirded out by it. I'd be like, oh, I get it. You think that, like, we know each other better than we do. But maybe you can. So I would talk to them for a bit. If it became weird and harassing, then I'd be like, this is fucking weird. I should tell someone. But like, or handle it, whatever. But that's not the case. So I don't know. It just kind of surprises me that people rely on social media for so much entertainment and to like such a distraction. But when you try to use it as a tool, which it was intended for initially anyway, people kind of get offended that you do. And it could just be my generation. I don't know. Because maybe my generation just doesn't get the whole point of like, hey man, fuck off. Like, this is my personal space. I get it. But your shit's set to public. So like clearly you want people to know and you don't think you're going to get some kind of response back. It's not like, in my situation, it's not like I, like stalked you out. Okay? It happened to come across my Facebook friends feed thing. So I was like, oh, okay, let's see. And instead of doing the friend request thing like an idiot, I did the other thing. So yeah, I made my mistakes, but I'm human. I don't know what I'm doing. I got fat thumbs. And I'm a man. I'm dumb. Look at all the excuses I have. I'm just saying. I could see how it would be taken as, it could be like a little off-putting. But in this day and age, I don't think it's so out of question to be like, is this to bring it up to someone else? So what happened to personal, like, moments, Yeah, I think that's more my thing. Now that I think about it, now that I've gone over it, I think that's my bigger issue with it, is that something like that seems more like a personal moment. So, like, to bring it up to somebody at my place of work, I think that's what ticks me off the most. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me get to the point where I finally understood my thought about this. Yeah, I think that's what I'm actually pissed off at. Or, not pissed off, but upset about. Is that is a moment to me that's between you and I. I ask you a thing, kind of personal, and you make it a public thing by bringing it back to the place I work at, even though the only relation to the place I work at is that's how you know me. That's it. So, if it was like an HVAC employee, would you go back to HVAC and be like, what the fuck, man? I don't know. Yeah, that's the problem I have with it. Yep. Man, you guys are like therapy. Whoever's listening and watching, thank you. That's definitely what I'm pissed off at. The idea that you can make it public when you don't have to. Because nothing came of it at all, ever. Like, one message sent, no response, deleted, done, moved on. I don't know. That's weird to me. That's also why I guess I don't understand women and I'm single. Like, it has to be, right? Because clearly I don't know how to communicate with women. Yeah. Don't know how to communicate with women. When I try to communicate with women, it doesn't work. I think you guys are onto something. I think I need to start maybe I need to listen to women more. Keeping in mind that I have 2 daughters, okay? An ex, and I have dated other women. But yeah, so I made the dating faux pas, or no, of reaching out through DM on social media to see if I could get a date. Because I was fed up with trying to find a date through dating apps that didn't work. And I thought, well, in person would be the best way to do this, obviously. And then quickly realized that in person, my days consist of being at work and then being with my kids, and that's it. all the day, every day, all days, all days, all the days. Like, I need that other person to be able to go out and have other people. I'm not that bad. I'm just saying. But yeah, it seemed very quick that there's no real opportunity to meet new people other than, you know, building relationships with customers at work. And I don't mean that by saying like I should build relationships with, I'm just saying that's where you're more likely to find a relationship in person in the situation that I'm in. So it's somewhat frustrating. I may have to take up a hobby. I might start doing yoga. But see, even that to me seems like if you do yoga, like, isn't that like almost a line of perversion? Like, don't they look at every dude being like, I know why you're in here? Or is that only if you do it at the back of the class? Like, if you're new, you have to go to the front. Whereas, like, if you went to the back, then they know, oh, that guy's the perv. I don't know. I don't know the social fucking rules anymore, okay? They've all changed so much. You have to worry about how everybody feels about everything. You have to watch if you can't, like, dude, I'm not saying that you should be able to say anything you want. But words are words. Like, if you're taking words that hard, like, maybe fucking relax a little. You know what I'm saying? I just think that in this day and age, with the amount of technology that we have, with the amount of chaos that's constantly going on, and the amount of news that keeps feeding us this idea that we're, you know, totally fucked up and everything's gonna just explode any second, I think that we should take a step back and be a little bit more into building a community amongst ourselves as opposed to watching the TV man tell us all the shit we think. Say it. Yes, I recognize that I'm a guy on TV-ish saying this to you. But you can also take me in your pocket and go outside and listen and go for a walk. You can't do that with the news guy. That's right. Yeah. You can listen to me ramble about all these different things. But yeah, no, I think that the media obviously has a huge role to play in our overall collective negative mindset. And I think that detaching from media for a little while in your personal life would really helps with putting in perspective what life is really like, or what life is really about, and how life can be really enjoyed. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think that everything that happens in terms of interaction with other people is always a negative thing. I can see how certain situations would make people feel a certain way, but I also think that sometimes that's an overreaction. You know? It also makes me think that if that's your reaction to that scenario, maybe you're not fully at the same place, like, you know, maturity wise, that I thought you might be. Because again, I don't find it weird if you would reach out, but again, I'm a guy, so I guess, you know, I guess I think differently. I don't see it as necessarily a bad thing. It'd be great if I could get some women that watch this to, like, explain better to me why that's a negative thing. When you have, again, it's not when I didn't just pick a random person. I knew this person a little bit, enough to, you know, want to ask. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need a female's perspective on the situation. I don't know. I'm old. I'm trying not to get crusty. So I smoke weed and I think about these things all day long. That's right. It's fun, man. You should try it sometime. Anyway, I'm just saying that I think that we could do better as, you know, humans and neighbors and people, to not necessarily expect the worst from people, right, all the time. You know? Maybe sometimes it's just an innocent, like, how do you do? You know? That's all I think. And those are my thoughts off the stem for this week. Thank you for joining me, Justin Barone, your friendly neighborhood pothead, on Friday at what was 4:20 and is now, I don't know, some other time. I hope you enjoyed the sesh. Hope you come back next week on Anchor. No, Anchor's now Spotify. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, YouTube, Podchaser, Pandora, Good Pods, Tots420.com. You can go there. Yep, we've got all the episodes too. And a couple blogs and other things. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the sesh. Let me know what you think, because I have no idea how to feel about it now. I'm somewhat embarrassed still, but I'm somewhat also confused. So if you have any idea about any of what I just talked about and where I really went wrong, you can let me know, because I want to know. I'm always trying to learn and see better, and I can't see me as good as you can. So there you go. All right. Hope you enjoyed the sesh. Hope you come back next week. Until next time, keep your lids low, baby. I'm saying, I need some feedback on this. I don't know.
Lots of this stand friendly neighborhood party.
Right on.